Decimation was one of the most brutal punishments in the Roman army. The Roman historian Titus Livy records the first instance of decimation. In 471 BC, the Italic tribes of the Volscians invaded Roman territory. The Romans set out to confront the invaders. When they faced them, the Roman soldiers refused to attack because they despised their own general, Appius Claudius Sabinus. Then, when the Volscians attacked in their turn, the Roman army was thrown into turmoil and fled, leaving behind their weapons and, even worse, their standards. Appius Claudius was far from amused by this and ordered all officers who had abandoned their posts to be flogged and beheaded. The rest of the army he punished with a disciplinary measure, the decimation. This means that 1 out of every 10 men in the entire army, cohort, or legion was executed by his own comrades. How this procedure worked in detail is well known because the sources on decimation are plentiful, which is very untypical for ancient history. Usually, the condemned cohort was divided into groups of 10. Then, each man had to draw a lot. Straws or white or black stones were usually used for this. The 9 comrades with the good lots had to execute their unfortunate comrade with the bad lot. Every 10th man, that is. Now, it should be clear why the punishment is called decimation. The term derives from the Latin word decimatio, which refers to the removal of the 10th part of something. In most cases, the one with bad luck was either beaten to death, stabbed to death, or stoned to death. These methods of execution were chosen because they were considered dishonorable, as opposed to, for example, the honorable beheading with an axe. But that was not all. Shame was added to the pain of having to execute a comrade. The ancient authors, Plutarch and Polybius, report that the remaining 9 men sometimes had to bivouac for several days outside the fortified camp, where they were exposed to ridicule, shame, and the constant threat of an enemy attack. Moreover, the historian George Ronald Watson explains, quote, "The 9/10ths who survived often received a more lenient punishment, such as rations of barley instead of wheat." Polybius describes the decimation in his histories as a very pragmatic and efficient solution to severely punish a large group of soldiers, without weakening the army too much. In some cases, the punishment was ordered in a milder form, as a so-called vincesimatio or centesimatio, where instead of every 10th, only every 20th or 100th soldier was determined by the fatal lot. Toward the end of the Roman Republic, decimation fell out of fashion and was used less and less frequently. One of the last mentions in Roman times is found in the Strategicon of the Eastern Roman Emperor Mauricius in the 6th century AD. After that, decimation disappears in the historiographical darkness and uncertainty of the early Middle Ages. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment down below, and let us know if you would like us to produce more similar videos.